will lead to poverty reduction and sustainable development. It is on that note I welcome you to this edition of Business Matters, where business truly matters. I am Stephen Ipalibo Lawson. Thanks for staying tuned. Renewable energy resources and technologies are a key to economic growth and development of any business. Let's take our business update segment right away.
The company's corporate affairs advisor, Mr. Kufre Ekanem, says the award is hinged on the realization that teachers seldom get the recognition they deserve, in spite of the pivotal role they play in determining the quality of education. The Teacher of the Year 2017 is open to teachers of both public and private schools across the country.
The big bumper goes to the Multinational Teacher of the Year because the person gets an additional 1 million naira plus the 500,000 naira he got she got as state champion, then get 1 million naira every year for 5 years, would be paid on the 5th of October each year, which is the World Teachers' Day.
The Multina Teacher of the Year 2017 kick-off featured a presentation and a discussion panel to further reiterate the role of teachers as partners for development.
Those who plan for the development of any country should talk about developing the human capital. And the human capital is the subject matter of teaching.
So I want to implore everyone to take an opportunity with what is happening and then work hard and to be able to motivate, to be able to bring out the best out of our children.
Officials of the Multina Teacher of the Year says interested teachers are advised to download application forms from the Multina Teacher of the Year website, upload to the website, sent by email or post to the Nigerian Breweries headquarters. The Nigerian Breweries Felix Ehiwere's Education Trust Fund Teacher of the Year Award was launched 2015 to motivate teachers in Nigeria.
The chairman and board of directors told shareholders that the company was able to increase its turnover by 7% from 294 billion naira in 2015 to 340 billion naira in 2016.
When viewed in the light of the challenges, in the light of today's problems which included a devaluation, double-digit interest rates, difficulty in accessing foreign exchange, I think that result can be considered extremely satisfactory.
With our brands, with our brewery infrastructure and all these great professionals working for Nigerian breweries, we're set and ready to cope with the challenges for 2017.
The company declared a total dividend of 28,386,181,179 naira only. This amount to 3 naira 58 kobo per share and 100% earnings payout. The proposal for shareholders' conversion of dividend to ordinary shares was also approved by shareholders.
It has been very, very smooth for the fact that the company is performing well. There's no doubt about that. And they are making a move so that they can increase and get better. Nigerian Breweries PLC says it remains committed to delivering good return on investment to its shareholders.
Up next is the summary of trading details from the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange.
The need for sustainable energy export is rapidly increasing as they provide an alternative source of energy in driving the economy. Welcome to our professional segment. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Business Matters, Nigeria's premium platform for business insight, best practices, and case studies. Business Matters professional segment is going to bring to fore some of the questions you've been having regarding energy, especially when it has to do with your business expressions and operations. Joining me in the studio today are two experts who are renewable energy experts, are going to throw more light on what we basically as business entrepreneurs have to embrace when it comes to business and powering our operations. And these are Mr. Olawuyi and Titi Masha. You're welcome, gentlemen and lady.
Thank you.
Is it supposed to be the other way, lady and gentleman?
We take it whichever way it comes.
You're welcome to Business Matters.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Today we're looking at the topic, renewable energy option for sustainable enterprise. We know that presently the country is facing issues that has to do with energy and power supply. And we know renewable energy, as a matter of fact, has become a buzzword, especially when it has to do with supplying energy to power a lot of operations, whether you are a farmer, whether you are a small-scale manufacturer, or whether you're even in the service industry. So as a way of starting, Titi, I would like to ask, in your own opinion, what does energy management entail, especially within the context of Nigeria?
So energy management is something that really should be done at all levels of the organization. Each individual in our community should be thinking of this. And so that's part of why we're here today, because there's only so much energy available. We all know that we have problems with that right now. And even with the additional modes of energy that are coming out, the renewable energy, and et cetera, we all have to learn to manage the energy that we have available. So it can be as simple as changing our behaviors and how we do things in our homes, in our offices, and our businesses to help manage the energy. For example, something as simple as you drive down a street in Lagos and I bet you see lights on outside the gates almost every day. There's no need for that. We need to get people to start thinking about energy as a very valuable commodity. And if we can all do that, I guarantee you that there'll be more energy to spread around.
Especially because it's interesting you mentioned that there is this culture of waste, and I hope that that is not going to be extended to the issue that has to do with renewable energy. So I'm going to ask you, Ola, you're an expert in renewable energy. You guys have done excellently well in terms of operations on ground. In your own opinion, what is the renewable energy concept about? Is it a concept that you think its time has come to be adopted, especially in Nigeria?
So the renewable energy concept is not a new concept in its entirety. So this is something that's been done in other countries, not just Nigeria. And the energy challenge is also not unique to Nigeria, right? So we have a different kind of problem, which is one of access and one of reliability of supply. But the energy discussion is a very global one. So what I would say is this is a really good time for us to embrace the energy doctrine, the renewable energy doctrine in this instance. And the reason that is because the price of renewable energy itself has come down. So we've been playing in this space for about 20 years now. And I remember at one point in time where you'd probably have to pay about $15 to $20 per watt, for solar renewable energy solution. But right now you could get it in the low figures, around $1, maybe less than 50 cents. So the cost argument is right on the table now. So it's a favorable condition. And then we also know what's happening with the fossil fuel. The price on that side is also going up. So if you marry the trend in fossil fuel with the cost trend in the renewable energy space, I think this is the right time now to start thinking about integrating renewable energy into our total energy mix.
Now, when we talk about renewable energy, and I'm still on you, Ola, are we just looking at, because a lot of people imagine that renewable energy has to do with only solar. Are there other aspects of renewable energy that, you want to throw more light on?
So renewable energy is a lot more than solar. I mean, the reason we talk about solar in this part of the world is because we have plenty of sun. But, biomass, biogas, geothermal, waste to energy programs. Some programs that are coming. Wind is also part of it. Wave energy. There's so many forms of renewable energy. Renewable energy is energy that you can actually repeat. So it's not a one-time use. You can actually use it time and over again. But solar is one of the low-hanging fruit. So and that's why we talk about it a lot in this part of the world. In other parts of the world, it's something entirely different. I know if you go to Scotland, they talk more about wind energy than they do solar. But the concept of renewable energy, like you rightly pointed out, is a lot more than on solar. And in Nigeria, because we're so well blessed as a country, we can all look at these options on wind, on solar, on geothermal, on biogas, biomass. So we really have a wide range of renewable energy options to play with.
Oh, great. Titi, I know for sure that as an entrepreneur, one of the major cost factors in my own balance sheet has to do with energy. And you've rightly mentioned that energy management has to become a culture where we don't waste energy. But looking at renewable energy as a major source to power different operations, do you think that the small businesses themselves can actually afford renewable energy rather than the main grid energy that we are being serviced with?
I do. I do think that there has to be a shift in how they're thinking about it. One of the things that always seems to stop people from adopting the solar power, for example, is concerns about the technology and concerns about cost. Ola has already mentioned that cost is coming down tremendously year over year, while fossil fuel is going up. But it is not cheap. It is still not a cheap solution, but it's a long-term solution. Most solar systems that are put in place to last between 20 and 25 years.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yes, so when you look at it that way, and if you're a business owner, whether small, medium, or large, and you're investing in the long term, then it is a good opportunity to leverage that to augment the energy that you already have.
So the cost itself for the first year is not the same as the cost for the 20th year?
It's very capital intensive in that you have to generally invest in it in the first year, which is quite a turnoff for many business owners. But then it's there. It's a sunk cost, and you can depreciate it and use it then over the 20 to 25 year period.
So the Titi's point is that the cost structure is a capex play and it's also an opex play. So the capex for solar is relatively significant. Compared to the operating expenses that you incur if you were using diesel generator power. So what it is, but if you amortize the cost of your total life cycle cost over the life or the useful life of the product, then you find out that solar itself is very competitive. And solar solution could last as much as 20, 30 years.
So small businesses, as a matter of fact, should consider solar of renewable energy as a better option for their own sustainable operations?
Well, they should, especially if you're in business and you're looking into the long term. And which businesses should do is to say you want to try and understand what your energy profile cost looks like going forward 5, 10, 20 years. So what does it look like? Do I want to hedge my cost 5 years away? Do I want to hedge my energy cost 10 years away in a society where I know that the energy cost is trending upwards? So if you want to hedge it, then this is why we think renewable energy might be a better option, a better proposition to your energy delivery solution than fossil fuel. But one thing I should point out is the argument is not whether renewable energy is better than fossil fuel.
Okay.
Well, the argument has always been that you should look at your total energy bucket, your total energy mix, and say, well, what do I have to put together? What kind of energy profile do you have to put together to get the energy requirement that I need for my business and for my society. Okay, this is very important.
Okay. Yeah. Titi, listen, this is interesting for me because climate change and sustainable development are subjects I'm very passionate about. And I know that businesses themselves are very much concerned. The most fundamental bottom line for a business is oftentimes cost.
Yes.
And aside from cost, has to do with policy. The business environment in which I operate must matter for me to be able to drive my profitability and be a responsible corporate entity as well. In your own experience over the years as a renewable energy expert, would you say that the business environment vis-a-vis with the government's policy has actually been facilitative towards the adoption of renewable energy on a large scale?
There's been lots of conversation about renewable energy over the years at different levels of the government. There's quite a few international organizations here in Nigeria that are trying to push the renewable energy option and put it out there on the table. However, it hasn't really gotten the traction that I think it could have. It's had some challenges over the years. There's a bill, for example, that has been waiting sign-off for some time to allow grid power for renewable energies to plug into the grid.
A final thought. What would you say to the budding entrepreneur out there, especially when it has to do with issues that concerns energy, power, management, as a way of wrapping up?
I would say to them, as part of your planning, as part of your preparation, definitely take into consideration what your energy mix needs to be. Otherwise, it is a cost that could potentially run away from you. So it's very important to understand when you're going to be using power, how you're going to be using power. The energy management that we spoke about at the beginning of this conversation is key as well. Not just where am I going to get my power, but how am I going to use it and how am I going to minimize the use of it. But it is definitely a thing that I think a lot of people don't really think about when they are putting together their business plans. And it's an element that can really run away with you in cost. And I would encourage them, in light of this conversation, to consider renewable energy in the mix. It may or may not make sense for everybody, but where it makes sense, they should definitely follow up and consider it.
If I could say something on the power management system. And power management system is not necessarily about just changing light bulbs. So it's also understanding the losses within your systems. And the systems usually are the local distribution systems. So when the power gets into your house or it gets into your factory, how do you manage this power? When you get a 50 million naira monthly electricity bill, what does it mean? Where is it actually gone to?
All right, thank you so very much. I've been in discussion with our renewable energy expert. As a matter of fact, I seem to be one of the people who is very much particular about energy management. I want to say a big thank you to Mr. Olawuyi and, of course, Titi, Masha, all from Top Step Limited. We've been discussing on the topic, renewable energy options for sustainable business. This is Business Matters. We're going to be back after this short break.
Coming up is our business success tips.
That's much we can take or bring to you on this edition of Business Matters. But before we draw the curtains, let me leave you with this quote. The use of solar energy has not been opened up because the oil industry does not own the sun. And that was Raf Nader. You can reach us on our social media platforms, on Twitter, BizMatters20, and on Facebook, BizMatters16. You can send us email at bizmatters22016@yahoo.com. Till we come your way again next week, keep doing business. I am Ipalibo Lawson. Thanks for watching.